Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome to School of Science. My name is Luke and this is the post-match action for Everton versus Arsenal. Everton won, Arsenal won. Now before this game, if someone would have said to me, Luke, would you take a draw? I'd probably say yeah. Because let's face it, Arsenal are a good team. They've sort of lost a bit of form as of late, but in all fairness, they're still a really good team. They've got the likes of Saka, they've got the likes of Odegaard, David Raya, Ben White, Declan Rice. They've got a lot of good players at this point in time. They really are a good team. And if it wasn't for the fact that they were injury-laden throughout the season, I do think they would be pretty much right now breathing down the necks of Liverpool. I mean, unfortunately, the gap's a little bit too wide now. And I'm not sure whether it's mathematically impossible between now and the end of the season for Arsenal to win. But it's pretty much Liverpool's title, unfortunately. So yeah, well done to them for winning the Premier League this season. It's, you know what? It's one of those seasons, where just things have sort of fell in their line. I mean, the injuries throughout this entire season for most of the teams that have been around them, it's just fell in their hands essentially. But yeah, let's not talk about the red shite. Let's talk about our game. That's our game. That's the game to talk about. So yeah, so going into this game today, with the beginning of the lineup, so we had Mikalenko. He's not necessarily picked up an injury, but it was a bit too soon for him really to be playing another full 90. So Patterson fell into his place, and overall, though, this lineup was essentially the same. So you had Pickford in goal, you had Patterson, Branthwaite, Tarkowski, and O'Brien, with James Garner and Garner Gay. And then you had Illiman and Dye on the left, Decore in the middle, Harrison on the right, and Beto up top. Reasonably strong sides, in all honesty. I think it was good to see McNeil back in the squad as well. He was on the bench, made a little cameo later on in the game. But overall, reasonably strong squad. I thought it was a squad that could go out and actually give Arsenal a bit of a tough time, and we did. For about a minute. From there, pretty much we had a few little blunders here and there. Pickford trying to kick with the wrong foot, made a little bit of an opening. Arsenal had to crack at it, and thankfully a nice little block from Burnham. Now, I did hear a couple of shouts, but in all honesty, the way he moves his body, he moves in like this, and the ball comes across here. Never going to be a handball in them situations because his arm is inside. He's not trying to cause a handball, and if his arm wasn't in the way, it was going straight for the chest. So, in that regard, never going to be a handball. But speaking of decisions and everything like that, Jesus Christ, down in England, it's an absolute shocker today. In all fairness, over the past week to 2 weeks, there's something going on. The referees are having an absolute howler at the moment. I'm not sure whether it's the fact that the new semi-automated system's coming in and their heads are all over the show, or whether it's just something with the PGMOL, with the referees union, whatever you want to call them. Something's going on behind the scenes, and they are just losing their heads in not in a great way either. They're going all over the place. Decisions aren't being made properly. They're relying too much on VAR. VAR's then making mistakes. VAR is intervening when they shouldn't be intervening. VAR's not intervening when they should be intervening. Nothing is going right for them, and it's not just for Everton, it's for the entire Premier League. I mean, don't get me wrong, Tarkowski's decision, red cards, I'll admit that all day long. It was a bad challenge, he should have got a straight red for it. They intervened in the wrong way and said, actually no, it's a yellow. And then today in this game, you had a situation with Jake O'Brien. From what I've been told and from what I've seen, gives the lad a push, he falls over as if he's just been rugby tackled by James Tarkowski, and VAR's intervened and said, actually, we think you should give me yellow, which I'm not sure whether you can do that. Someone clarify that with me, because from my decision, well, not from my decision, from my knowledge and looking into all this, VAR is meant to intervene when there's a clear and obvious error that's been made on the pitch, or something that's happened that has been out of the referee's line of sight. Let's say, for argument's sake, the referee's facing this way, something happens behind him, he doesn't turn in time. That's when VAR should be intervening. And in this situation, VAR's intervened and said, we think you should give a late yellow. That's no. That's a no. And I mean, in all honesty, it's so minor and it's been hammed up so badly. I don't think it should be a yellow. I think it should just be a situation of the referee walks over to the lads and says, get up, stop acting like a soft ass, play on. That's my opinion. That's me. But yeah. Also, on the 9th minute, lovely tribute. I mean, we even did it beforehand where we were paying tribute. Both the Everton fans and the Arsenal fans were paying tribute to Kevin Campbell. Again, really touching one. Gets at the heartstrings, that, because he was a player that was very paramount when I was growing up. But yeah, so after that, coming up to around the 30-minute mark, there was a moment of idiocracy. So I'm not sure who you could really point the finger at in this one. There's 3 people involved. Well, technically you could say 4 leading up to this goal. So a ball got pushed up. Idrissa Gueye and Jarrett Branthwaite go for the same ball. Idrissa Gueye gets the ball, and Jarrett Branthwaite is sitting in the midfield when he should really be sitting back in this situation. And like I said, Idrissa Gueye heads the ball, and the ball goes to where Jarrett Branthwaite should be instead of where he is. And the Arsenal player is able to run in, pick up, moves across with the ball, and from there on, you're watching James Tarkowski. He's basically standing head on with this player. This player's ahead of him. He's basically backing away from the player. So he's trying to create space whilst this player is closing down on him. While he's got the ball, all James Tarkowski has to do is turn, hold his ground. There is only one other player, and Jake O'Brien's got him covered. Instead, he carries on making space. This other player then loses Jake O'Brien, gets the ball, and he's able to slot it past for Pickford. So the people who I think are at fault in this one is 4 ways, as I said. Those being Idrissa Gueye for making a silly headed challenge, Jarrett Branthwaite for being in the wrong area, James Tarkowski for not covering his ground and trying to get, well, I'm trying to say cover his ground, not getting in the way of this player. All he has to do is hold his ground, turn, hold, and then when he releases, Jake O'Brien's then got time to turn around and either intercept or do something else. Basically, Tarkowski did the worst thing that he could have done by creating more space for the opposition. And then Pickford, who kind of went down a little slow. Normally, when we see Pickford going down, he's normally basically up and then down. It's instant. Normally, it's instant when he's covering this. But in this situation, he seemed to go down in slow motion. Somehow he managed to defy gravity and go down like that rather than just straight. It was it was like he was trying to take an elevator down to the ball, and it basically got between his arms and 1-0. It was one of those moments. I think it was a defensive blunder. I'm going to say that much. I think all 4 players do need to take a little bit of responsibility. But no one wholeheartedly is to blame for this. It's a sequence of errors that has led to the goal. And from there, that seemed to be the wake-up alarm for us, because after that, we just went at them like a bull at a gate. Now, I think before that, if I'm not mistaken, this is the problem with these games. When you watch it live, you come back to it a little bit later on. It just, the sequence of events just seemed a little bit mishmashed, especially when it comes half to half. But yeah. So, there was also a moment of play that I remember. Nice shot, and basically a cross had come in, and Jake O'Brien he was pretty much level with goal, onside, everything was perfect. It kind of reminded me when Balotelli does that shoulder where the ball comes in, he just goes down and shoulders it in. It felt like he was trying to do a replica of that, but he just didn't get the body onto it, and from there he sort of hit it outwards. If it was a defensive play, it would have been amazing. It would have been a great defensive sort of thing, because he was went like that and just defended it perfectly. But instead, it's an attacking sort of thing. All he had to do was sort of get his body across it and get it in. I'll be honest, that was at the park end. I'm in the Gladys, lower Gladys, and from where I saw it, it looked like it hit the upright. It did honestly look like it hit the upright. But from looking back on it, it was a Jake O'Brien moment, and I'm gutted for him because it could have went in, but needs to do better. So yeah. Right, so another thing as well. What in God's name were the Arsenal players doing? After they'd scored that goal, they were having a drinks break. What is going on there? No, I kid you not. After that goal, they went to the halfway line to Arteta and the coaching staff and went like this and started having a drink. What the hell? No, seriously, what the hell? They went to the halfway line and started having a drink when we were trying to start the game again. And I would put that honestly as time wasting. I mean, don't get me wrong, the ref does stop the watch. They're meant to stop the watch when this sort of thing happens. So, but still, it is, in a technical sense, it is time wasting. So I do feel like some players should have been given a yellow card as a result of this. Who's with me on this one? If you're with me, great. If you're against me, put me in the comment section why this wouldn't be a yellow card offence in the effect of time wasting, because it is, in no doubt, time wasting. It's disrupting the flow of play. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a goal, it's getting reset and everything like that. But it's still, in a sense, time wasting, because when goal kicks are getting taken, when free kicks are getting taken, when throw-ins are getting taken, when corners are getting taken, if a player takes too long, because technically in an actual sense, they stop the watch. They do pause the time on it. So from there, they should technically not be getting yellows or anything like that. But in a goal sense, that should be the exact same thing. That is technical time wasting in my opinion. And I do think the players should have been booked for that. But yeah, so end of the first half, we did actually get geared up a little bit. We got at them, we were having a go with them. Few good efforts here, there and everywhere. James Tarkowski, Jesus Christ, mate. I will say this one. Tarkowski does himself no favours. I think he's had 64 yellow cards without getting a red. The dude's, it's an amazing feat, to tell you the God's honest truth, but what you got to take into account as well, he's had 301 Premier League games. If I'm wrong, it's going to be here. But yeah, so from my knowledge, he's had 301 Premier League games and he's had 64 yellow cards. So that's less than one yellow card in every 3 games. Well, every 4 games almost. Basically between 3 and 4, every 3 and 4 games, technically, he gets 1 yellow card, which is really good for a defender when you think about it. Because defenders really, if you're a defender playing in a hard-hitting team, so Everton, when you think about it, we play, in a sense, an old-fashioned sort of football. We hit hard. We play it as a contact sport. We're not trying to, shadow you out. We're not trying to sort of get over you and try and just be a nuisance. When we tackle you, we tackle you. We make sure you know we're there. We're getting the ball. And if you're there, if you are in the way, well, I'm sorry, mate, but we're coming for your legs as well. That's what football's about. It is a contact sport. Because bear in mind, I'm giving you a little bit of an old lesson here. So bear in mind, rugby is derived from football. Gaelic football is derived from football. Aussie rules football derived from football. Gridiron derived from football. All these these different off branches, all based from the classic football that is getting played today. Now bear in mind, the rules and everything like that have changed over the course of history. But at the end of the day, old-fashioned football, you clattered people. You actually did give someone, you damaged people. And don't get me wrong, it's not ideal when, let's say for argument's sake, you've got work in the morning. But professionals get paid a lot of money. In essence, that should be what you consider danger money. If you work on an oil rig, you get paid a lot of money because it's danger money. It's a fucking dangerous job. If you work as a miner, danger money. Again, a lot of jobs that you work in that are high paying in this day and age, unless it's, like a CEO or a manager or an investment banker. Anything that is manual labor or anything like that that's high paying, there's a good chance a lot of that is danger money. It's dangerous work. So in football sense, these guys get paid a shit ton of money. So in essence, that should be considered danger money in a way, because one really bad tackle is a career ender. And that should be noted in the contract that it's a dangerous sport, it's contact sport, there is a risk you will break your fucking ankle. But yeah, I'm rambling on here. Right, so first off, done and dusted. Right, coming on to the second half, Everton pretty much out the gate from the way it go. Inside of about first 10 to 15 minutes, we caught the Arsenal defence lacking. Jack Harrison pretty much catches a loose ball, comes in, and Lewis Kelly basically grabs him. No doubt it's a grab. Basically grabs him by his arm and pulls him down inside of the box. Penalty for Everton. And then they take about 2 or 3 minutes to confirm that it is a penalty. VAR go in and they look at every single angle possible. They check to make sure Harrison wasn't offside. They check to make sure that he was fouled inside the box. They check everything to make sure it's a penalty, but also they're checking everything to make sure to try and not give Everton a penalty. Because bear in mind, we've had 2 penalties in this Premier League season. 2 penalties in the space of 8 months. 2 penalties. Let's put it like this. Let's say at the end of the season we finish on 2 penalties. That's 2 penalties in 38 games. And that's 1 penalty every 16 games. The likes of Liverpool, I think they've got 6 at the moment. They've got on 6 penalties so far this season. So let's say, for argument's sake, end of the season, they only end up on 6. So that's what? That's a lot. That's a lot of penalties. When you think about it, that is a lot of penalties. So let's say the average team should have, let's say, 1 penalty every 8 to 10 games in a healthy sense. Because let's be honest, there's a lot of feet getting flown around across the box and everything like that. I think Everton have we conceded about 3 or 4 penalties. Again, across here, if I'm wrong, how many penalties we conceded, I'll find out. I don't think it's many though. I don't think it is actually many because I think Pickford saved 2 of them. But yeah. But in any case, yeah, penalty. And as we know, Iliman Ndiaye, he comes up, and as you can see right here, cool as you like, nice ball, wrong side, David Raya, and we're at 1-1. So from there, that's our second wins. We just keep pushing at Arsenal, and they do the same for us. A ball does actually come through, so later on in the game, from memory, ball comes through. During it though, there was a foul on Jared Branthwaite. I was going to say Patson for some reason, don't know why. But yeah, so foul comes in on Jared Branthwaite. The play goes on. They have a shot and Pickford makes an absolute peach of a save. This shot is close to point blank. It's probably about 5 to 10 yards away from Pickford. He has got less than half a second to react, gets a nice clean palm on it and puts it just wide to the top corner. And then the referee blows for a foul. So, in all honesty, there's 2 ways you can look at this. The referee shouldn't have blown for a foul, and would have been a corner, in all fairness. But he should have also blown for it immediately, and then booked the person who kicked the ball. Because in a technical sense, the player is kicking the ball away, thus time wasting, thus disrupting the flow of play. I know a lot of people can have a lot of comments to put for me in the comment section below. If you do disagree with me, I am more than welcome to entertain it. Put it in the comment section below if you do disagree with me. I will not take offense. I accept criticisms. I love to hear opposing opinions. So if you do not agree with what I've just said there, put it in the comment section below, please. But yeah, so not long after that, we make 4 substitutions over the space of the game. So Patson comes off and Ashley Young comes on. Ira Burnham comes off, James Garner comes on. Beto comes off and Breuer comes on. And Ndiaye comes off and Alcaraz comes on. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second. Don't know why. Oh yeah, McNeil as well. McNeil makes an appearance as well for Harrison. So we make 5 substitutions in the space of the game. Better first. And it's nice to actually see McNeil back in. Didn't make too much of an impact, but bear in mind it was like the last 5 to 10 minutes of the game, so he was pretty much just blowing the rust off, in all fairness. I think he might make more of an appearance come the next game against Forest. Is it Forest? Yeah, I think it's Forest away, isn't it, the next game? So it'll be interesting to see how he fares in that one. And in all honesty, though, I do think this needs to be the moment where Decore needs to take a bow. Because in all fairness, in this game today, it did seriously become apparent. Off the ball, he's good. On the ball, not very good at all, no, in all honesty. When it's in a transition, so when it's going from defence to attack, and he gets the ball, for some reason, I don't understand why, I want someone to tell me why he does this. When a lot of players get the ball, so let's say for argument's sake, we look at Idrissa Gueye, we look at James Garner, Ira Burnham, Ndiaye, Harrison. When these guys get the ball from a defensive point moving up, they will get the ball and they will transition. When Decore gets the ball, he stops. He basically becomes an Iron Man in Crosby Beach. He makes a perfect impression of one. He just stops in his tracks like this. He's just there like this. And he gives the opposition way too much time. Either they spend those extra 3 to 5 seconds marking up the other players so he's got nothing to pass to, or they will crowd him. 2 or 3 players will basically get straight onto him and get that ball off him, or he's going to have to pass it backwards. He is counterproductive when it comes to a transition of play. He is counterproductive when it comes to being in the midfield. And I will be honest, in this game he actually didn't have too bad of a game. He had a 6 out of 10 game today. And that's mostly for the fact that he was assisting Beto near the top, chasing down balls. So like I said, off-field, off-ball play, he's good. He's basically trying to get the men, he's basically marking men down. He's trying to be a nuisance. He's doing what a second striker essentially does. But on the ball, he's dreadful. It's not good at all. He's basically a 7 out of 10 when it comes to being off the ball, but a 3 out of 10 when he's on the ball. But that's just my opinion. I think for the next game though, with the players that we got fit now, I mean, Ndiaye came off, it was mainly calf strain. He's not played in a good month, and coming back into it now, around the 70th minute, about 65, 70 minute mark, he comes off, and from what I saw, basically the 2 times he went down, it's purely calf strain from what I can see. And I know what it's like. We all know what it's like. If any of you guys who've played footy, you know exactly what it's like. After you've been playing for a while and you've really been going at it, and you're going into sprint, you're trying to kick the ball, and you can feel your calf tightening up. And sometimes in the worst case, when you really go for it, like you're going at it, you're an absolute beast on the field, like legging it everywhere, and you feel your quads doing the exact same. It's not a pleasant feeling. It really isn't. So in them situations, it is a literal sense of you need to basically wave the white flag and get subbed. I've been in the unfortunate situation where I've played in a game where we had no subs. I could feel every single muscle in my leg cramping. I felt my quads cramping. I felt my hammies cramping. I felt my glutes cramping, my calf. Every single inch of my legs were cramping up when I was going to kick a ball, and I had to play on. That was a massive mistake because I was out for like a good couple of weeks after that. I think I missed 2 to 3 games after that for that one, just for the fact that it hit like a motherfucker. But yeah, so also another one. So as I said, VAR had an absolute nightmare today. Down England's had an absolute nightmare today. Linesmen, they just did what they did. But overall, it was a shocking game for the referees, especially at the end. So there was a free kick moment there. And they had about, I think it was still had a minute on the clock. 1 minute on the clock. Basically, ball comes in. Player goes to kick it. Darren England blows for full time when there was still a minute on the clock. All of the players, not just the Everton players, both the Everton players and the Arsenal players surround him. They're like, what the f*** are you doing? They actually said, what are you doing? They basically point to the clock. He looks, he goes, oh, okay. Sorry. Play on. He'd wasted about 30 seconds doing all that rigmarole, only for us to waste a free kick. But yeah, right, so at the end of the day, it was a fair result, and it was a lovely ceremony as well, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was an anniversary game, so it was there was a 125 year gap for this game. So it was the the very first game between Everton and Arsenal at Goodison Park was on April 5th, 1905. So the very last game for Everton v Arsenal at Goodison is April 5th. Now, I'll just confirm that. April 5th, 2025. So there was a 120-year... It was like a 120-year anniversary in a way. And it was a lovely celebration to sort of see off Goodison Park with this particular fixture. A nice, reasonably even game, to say the God's honest truth. But yeah, it was a touching one, especially with them celebrating Kevin Campbell. I do think we need to do that in all games in the future. Basically, when we go to Bramley Moor, again, 9th minute, give Kevin Campbell the tribute. We just keep doing that for as long as we can. It is a touching one. But yeah, overall, solid game. Tarkowski had a reasonably decent game. If I was to give a man of the match, I'd be giving it to Jesse Gay. Although he did make a bit of a blunder, he was all over the pitch. He was right by the back line. He was up near the top. He was doing everything. He was making crunching tackles. He was intercepting. He was making good passes. He had a couple of blunders. But when you think about it, the guy's 35 years old, and he is putting guys in their mid to late 20s to absolute shame with the pace, endurance, speed, and ability that he's got. So yeah. So that's it, guys. I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. Also, I'd like to give a big thank you to our members down here. If you do want to be a member and help support the channel, as I've said before, a lot of this stuff does come out of my own pocket when it comes to hardware, software, stuff I use to make these videos. All this sort of stuff does come out of my own pocket. So if you guys want to help and give your own little thank you to the channel. I know a simple thank you in the comments is something that means a lot, but if you want to go that little step further and say, you know what, Luke, I want to help you contribute to the channel. I want you to get better hardware. I want you to get better software. I want you to do things where you can actually make more unique videos. Then become a member of the channel. We have got the cup of coffee tier down below. And what that pretty much does, that helps you give me a little bit more money to the channel. So it is less than £1 a month. So think about it. It is essentially this can a month. One sec. This can a month going to the channel. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but bear in mind, right now, there are 3,230 of you following this channel right now. If 1/10 of you, so 10% of you, became members of the channel, that's £323 coming to this channel. That, I kid you not, would help me upgrade the hardware of my computer. Because right now, I'm running on 10-year-old hardware. I'm running on a Ryzen 1700, a GTX 1060 6GB. Now, if you guys aren't aware what this sort of stuff is, it's all computer components. It's an old system right now. Bear in mind, it still helps me get stuff, but when it comes to making videos, it is very taxing on the system. It takes its time. This video is probably going to be knocking on about 30 minutes long. It is going to take me about 2 hours to get it rendered and get it up on YouTube. So it helps me improve that sort of stuff. The lighting that I have right now, I kid you not, are fill lights. So I've got 1, 2, and a small one here with a big one above me right now. So things like that can get improved by that. The wall. This is paint from my family. So my mum and stepdad, they moved into their new gaff. They painted the walls with this stuff. They had some spray paint left over. I said, can I use it for my back wall? So I grabbed it. In all honesty, I want to actually improve that as well. I want to do it like a charcoal grey. And on top of that, I've got acoustic panels behind me. These are cheap ones from Amazon. They cost me about 30, 40 quid. I want to get a few more of them. So I have got walls either sides of me here and here. I do want these to be filled with these properly to try and get some proper noise isolation. On top of that, I want to be able to actually look into getting a green screen as well. So I could actually have a screen behind me that I could pull down. So in situations where, let's say we're talking about tactics, I could quite literally go like this, pull it down, step to the side, and then come here and then talk about tactics. So let's say, for argument's sake, we were doing a pre-match. So let's say the Nottingham Forest, for example. So we got the Nottingham Forest pre-match, for example. Let's say that. That's probably the best one I can think of right now off the top of my head. So I could basically pull it down. We start talking about that pre-match and we say, right, let's talk tactics. So what you've got here is one of two potential tactics we do. So it could be a 4-2-3-1 or a 3-5-2-1. No, that's wrong. Yeah, 3-4-2-1. So it's basically, I call it the Christmas tree. So I could be doing things like that. We can do things like that. These things are doable, especially when you guys help the channel. I know I sound like I'm begging and pleading and everything, but shit's getting expensive these days, honestly. And if you guys can help me do this sort of stuff, I will promise you that all that you put into this channel will come back to you in the form of entertainment, come in the form of value of stuff that I can bring to you. I will improve that stuff infinitely, because bear in mind, I have got the knowledge to do all this stuff. I know how to do all this stuff. The one thing that's kneecapping me at the moment is funding. So yeah, I'm sorry that it's really preachy about that. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Mr. Roberto, who is a Cup of Coffee tier member. So if you want to be like Mr. Roberto, get yourself down here and just help the channel do great things. We can build this channel to something absolutely amazing. I can help with I can get this production all the way up here just by you guys contributing to the channel. If you can't afford to do that, just simply liking the videos, putting comments down below, and sharing it with friends and family and everything, saying, oh, this lad's got really good opinions. He's very energetic. He speaks from the heart. He does opinions rather than silly, cold, hard facts. Then it's a massive thank you, because that does help the channel as well massively. But yeah, guys, I have rambled on for over 30 minutes now for the simple post-match video, and my throat is really dry. So yeah, I'm going to call it there. I've got a football game nice and early tomorrow morning. It is going to be scorching, so pray for me. Anyway, guys, again, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Have a great weekend. Up the fucking toffees, and peace.